Okay, so hopefully you watched the time lapse. As you saw, I went around and did all of the corners, the edges. These are all nice and rounded now. The minor problem that I have though is that this texture is much different than the texture of the smooth canvas or smooth slab that we use to press our leaves into. So what I can do now is just come back with a damp sponge and just kind of smooth that over. And if I need to, I can then run over it with my fingers, and that should help even and flatten that out, that rough texture that we have there. This is going to become especially important if you use a translucent glaze, a glaze that you can see through, because those textural differences will show up just slightly. So it will be a little bit different if you're using a translucent glaze. If you're not, if you're using just like a solid black or a good dark blue glaze or something like that, then it's not nearly as important to smooth that out because it's just going to get covered up. The other thing I also did is I also smoothed out and took off a little bit of the bumps and the things on the foot and around the base of the foot where it's attached, just to make sure that those are all nice and clean the way I want it. Remember, once it gets fired, you can't really do much more to it. I have seen people try to sand bisque fired clay, but again, you run into that problem with silicosis. You have the silica that comes off in there, not to mention it doesn't really work. You don't really get a much smoother effect, and the smoothness that you do get from sanding bisque fired projects or bisque fired wear is the fact that all it does is gets covered up with the glaze anyway, so it's not making that big of a difference. So ideally, you would do this when it is leather hard. I just made the mistake of not drying it or not covering it after doing my demonstration on building it. You know, got busy with other things, so that it does not have that nice smooth surface that you can get while the clay is leather hard, and a little bit of water and especially your fingertips and your fingers can smooth things out. This does basically the same thing, but it is much easier and much quicker to do it when it is leather hard or still green when you first attach things. So I wouldn't wait this long normally, but if you do, this is the solution. So I'm going to continue finishing this up and smoothing it out. So time for another time lapse.